people? It's your boy, the host with the most that do not brag or boast. I'm coming to you guys live from coast to coast. It's your boy. I'm Chris the Don One. Welcome, 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 welcome. It's good to be back. Okay, rate, comment, subscribe, share this with your friends, family, as well as your followers. I'd like to thank all the YouTube subscribers, all of the Twitch subscribers, all of the Facebook subscribers coming in, watching the content, watching the live streams. I really do appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. Okay, so got all that stuff out of the way. We're going to tackle King of the Hill. I'm going to do a 2-for-1. I'm going to recap 2 episodes that I watched on the brand new season 14 of King of the Hill that premiered on Hulu. I think it premiered last month. Uh, Chore money, chore problems, and a new ref in town. All right. Uh, Ironically, uh, I did, yesterday I did chore money, chore problems. I did that, and for some strange reason, after I ended the live stream, a couple hours later, I accidentally deleted it. Okay, apologies on my part, but it is what it is. Okay, so I felt like let me do a redo on chore money, chore problem, and talk about a new ref in town on this live stream. Okay. All I need you guys is if you're coming in, I like the likes. Can you get the likes up? And don't forget to hit the notification bell, share this with your friends, family, and followers. But more important than that, be sure that you're subscribing to the channel. All right. So let's just go into chore money, chore problems. And basically, I'm gonna do a quick deep dive on it. All right, chore money, chore problem was basically an episode that uh Hank Hill was so bored of retirement life because we all know, and if you've been following King of the Hill, Hank Hill is a workaholic. He enjoys work. He feels like the only purpose in life is family, church, and selling propane and propane products. I tell you what, Bobby. So when he's retired from the propane business, he's having a hard time adjusting to retirement life because, like I said, Hank Hill is a workaholic. Peggy is a busybody. She needs something like work to motivate her. Okay, she feels like there's no purpose in her if she's not working or teaching or some capacity of that. So Peggy was kind of sort of adjusting to retirement life by being active by watching all of reality TV, just to, just wasting time, just filling up time. She felt like she was getting more excitement in that, and also occasionally Bobby would call her, and that's what she donated her time to. Hank, on the other hand, had a very hard time adjusting, and he was bored out his wits. So Boomhauer came to Hank asking, can he borrow some tools? And as Hank is giving him the tools, he's asking Boomhauer what he's using these tools for. And you know how Boomhauer is, you can't really, you don't understand the whole entire sentence of what Boomhauer is saying. But you do get the last part of the sentence, and you kind of sort of, have to piece things together trying to figure out what Boomhauer is saying. But everyone else in Arlington, Texas, in the King of the Hill land, understands Boomhauer fluently. It's just we, as the audience, do not understand Boomhauer. Man, tell you what, man, he pretty much talks like that. So, um, Boomhauer is communicating to Hank about, hey, I'm on this app. It's a handyman. It's a handyman for hire app. I forgot the name of the app. I had it in my head, but I forgot about it. And you just like if you need someone to do chores around the house or do repairs around your house, you utilize this app, and you pick someone from the app, and they'll do the work for you. So Boomhauer was utilizing his services through this app, this handyman app, and Hank was going. He was trying to pretty much put himself in a Boomhauer situation, and basically was saying, hey, basically making up some excuse to Peggy. Hey, Boomhauer wanted me to help him with this job that he's hired for, even though Boomhauer didn't ask for Hank's help. All he wanted was Hank's tools, but Hank wanted to ride along because, like I said, Hank is bored as hell. All right. So they come to this place. I guess the guy wanted them to clean out his gutters uh, on his roof. Hank was doing the work. Hank, like I said, Hank's a busybody. He likes to work. He also likes to, do repairs around the house and things of that nature. So that put Hank at peace, okay, in the beginning. And Boomhauer just is sitting around talking to the guy that hired him, and basically the guy's talking to him about things that's going on in his life and things of that nature. And Boomhauer is basically a guy. He says so little, but he pays attention to what you're saying, and that was the ultimate thing that Boomhauer was doing, was helping with these people. Basically, Boomhauer is helping these people out by, just listening to them. So while he's listening to this guy, Hank is up on the roof, doing the job, things of that nature. I'm eating in between talking. Sorry about that, guys. So yeah, Hank is Hank's happy. He's got something to do in his retirement phase. Boomhauer is happy because he's still doing what he normally does, and the people that's hiring Boomhauer are happy with Boomhauer because Boomhauer is somebody that just listens to people's problems and conversations. And at the end of the day, not only Boomhauer gets paid, but he gets rated very high. It's like 5 stars, but they call it 5 bananas. Okay. And Hank, during the course, Hank is going like, wait a minute. If I travel along with Boomhauer to help him with his jobs and tasks and stuff, that will keep me busy and I won't be bored out of my wazoos at home watching soaps or reality TV or anything of that nature. Okay. So Hank thought he had something cooking with Boomhauer. Now, let's put that story to the side. We're going to talk about Bobby Hill in this episode. So Bobby Hill um, is he's got the feelings for Connie. He wants that old thing back. He wants Connie back, okay? Because he misses Connie. So he's trying to figure out a way to persuade Connie into his restaurant, maybe go out on a date, things of that nature. But, you know, Bobby has been occupied, his restaurant has been occupying Bobby so much, Bobby's pretty much out of the loop of, socializing with people. Things have changed. The last time Bobby talk to girls is when he was a kid. Now he's a grown adult, has his own responsibilities, has his restaurant. So the restaurant keeps Bobby Hill active and involved, and it pretty much put Bobby out of the loop with social media and texting and things of that nature. So he was trying to figure out a way to how to text Connie about maybe going on a date. So as he's trying to figure that out, guess who shows up in the restaurant? Connie. So Bobby sees Connie, and then Bobby starts, talking to Connie, long-winded and things of that nature. But come to find out, Connie coming to Bobby's restaurant because of Chain Super Noofa phone. All right, basically, Shane super phone, change the super duper phone, and Connie, they're an item. They don't really go into details of their relationship. Are they just hanging out? Are they just dating? Are they boyfriend, girlfriend? But it's more than being friends. And that kind of irritates Bobby because Bobby feels like his true love is Connie. Because, the time when they were kids, they would, they were friends and they would hang around each other. But their friendship, even though you know, it was plutonic, but it did have elements of them actually being in a relationship. But they were so young, they didn't understand what relationship is and was. Okay, that's when they were kids. All right, so Bobby, just took it to the chin. Connie has moved on, but once again, Bobby has these feelings for Connie. All right. So I hate to go back and forth. We're gonna go back to the Hank Hill story. Meanwhile, Hank Hill, everything's going well with Hank Hill. They went to another job with him and Boomhauer. Boomhauer got a concussion at this job, and the doctor told Boomhauer that he's going to have to, lay low and stay at home and, just chill, okay, because he's got a concussion. So Hank took it upon himself to say, "Hey, you know what, Boomhauer? While you're dealing with your issues, I will still do the task and do the job on this app." And at first it was a great idea to Hank because Hank just all he wants to do is get out the house and do chores or do some type of labor, right? But once again, Hank don't see uh, everything that comes with it, particularly with this app. So he goes on a job by himself, and it's this couple. Oh no, it was this guy, and he wanted Hank to do his drapes, fix his drapes, and as Hank is doing his job, got his mind on the task at hand. The guy thought that Hank was like another Boomhauer, so he started talking to Hank about what's going on in his life and things of that nature. But Hank wasn't paying attention to that. All Hank wanted to do was the job at hand. Now, Hank did a great job hanging the curtains, but when he goes to the app to review, the guy gives him 3 stars or it's 3 bananas, but we'll call it 3 stars. And Hank's trying to figure out, you know, was he happy with the service? What happened? Did he do something wrong? It wasn't the fact that Hank did anything wrong with the work. It's just Hank don't realize that the reason why Boomhauer was getting 5 stars, it wasn't because of his performance. It was the simple fact that you know Boomhauer was a lean was an ear to just or listen to people about their problems and stuff, and help people through their rough times or through their issues in life. And Hank was not doing that. All Hank cared about was the task at hand. So, Hank has a hard time opening up. He's very personal and private about his his personal life. All right. So Peggy, when he goes home, Peggy is trying to explain to him that he needs to start opening up. Okay. And maybe that's the reason why these people are not giving you these stars. So at the next job, Hank goes to this young couple. They're YouTubers, but they haven't been on YouTube because they're trying to take care of their child. The kids whining and crying, and they're trying to figure out what's wrong with the kid, this, that, and the third. And as Hank was trying to put caulk in the floorboard, he started remembering what Peggy says. In order, if you want to get 5 stars, you're going to have to communicate to these people. You're going to have to listen to these people and talk to these people. The two things Hank does not like doing with strangers. So Hank begins, when they talk about their kid and stuff, Hank starts talking about what Peggy went through when she was pregnant with Bobby. And started the conversation, all well and good. Hank got an opportunity to finish the job. He also gave them some advice. Hank thought it was a win-win. Um, they He looked on the app while Peggy was at home. They gave him a 5 stars. They gave him 5 stars. They even gave him a link to their YouTube channel or their YouTube video. He clicks the link and they talk about Hank and how Hank was so positive, and they didn't say anything about Hank fixing or caulking their floorboard. They was more talking about Hank, how he was a person to lean on with advice and things of that nature. And they was talking about when Hank was talking about Peggy and her struggles when she had Bobby, and that infuriated Peggy. Okay, but Hank believed Peggy was upset because of he was told he told Peggy's business. But Peggy was more mad at Hank because of the fact Hank has a hard time opening up and telling people how he feel and stuff. And they started a little argument. And then eventually Hank started opening up to Peggy about how he felt about the whole situation. So um, you got that going on. Okay. Now back to Bobby and Connie. Connie invited Bobby to this karaoke bar. So Bobby thought it was a perfect opportunity to, you know, um, uh, you know, get some brownie points in with Connie. Because earlier Connie was not sure about Shane's super phone, Chain super phone. I always get his middle and last name mixed up. Chain, basically, she said that he mainly talks about frat life and things of that nature. He really is not, talking about him as a person or this relationship or what he thinks about this relationship. So she's worried about, did she make the right choice being in a relationship with Shane. Bobby, uh the nice guy he is, most guys would just crap on that guy just to get an opportunity to talk to the girl that they want to. But Bobby, as a gentleman, basically told her would give him time. He will open up, he'll crack and open up, and just give him an opportunity because he's stressed out. He's just giving the guy an out, giving the guy excuses. Okay, so fast forward to the club, the karaoke club bar. Connie wanted Bobby to sing this song, and Bobby said, he didn't know the song. I mean, he hasn't been in karaoke bar, and she basically said, "Well, you should know this song because, ironically, this is the song that Bobby and Connie sung when they were kids." And they karaoke the song. Everyone was gave them a thumbs up and stuff, not because they were good singers, is because they had good chemistry with one another. Okay, so Bobby took that opportunity to try to get close to Connie and try to kiss Connie. And then that's when Connie interrupt that moment to let Bobby know that she came with somebody else. She came with this black girl, and she thought that it was a blind date. She thought that Bobby would be more interested in this new girl. Maybe if they get to know each other, Bobby could, have someone that he can date. And in that way, it won't be weird with when she's on date when Connie's on date with Kane, and it will be a good double date. When Bobby got to the table, I personally felt like they had some things in common, but I could understand why Bobby, uh, didn't want to go through with it with this girl, because Bobby is got feelings towards Connie. Okay, so Bobby made some excuse. He told him that he had to go back to work or something like that. Then the scene changes with Hank, Boomhauer, and this app situation. So basically, um, Hank, you know, comes to the conclusion that, you know, maybe this is not for him. He doing the repair work, he had no issues with. Hold on one second. Man, that something is good. So Hank came to the conclusion that this wasn't a good idea. He let Boomhauer do his thing, and that's pretty much the end of that story. But it did get him closer to Peggy, and he started opening up more to Peggy on what he's thinking or how he feels. And that made their, out of all of it, it kind of make him open up more to Peggy. Okay, now back to Bobby. Bobby went home, was talking to oh, I forgot that kid that Dale thinks that's his. Can't think of his name right now. But anyway, he can't, because they're roommates. So they're out on the patio playing their game of, looking in people's windows and pretending like they're watching a movie. And he basically, telling Bobby's telling him that he had feelings for Connie, and he doesn't know what to do. And then someone knocks on the door. It was Connie. So Connie, the guy that's the kid, and Bobby was sitting on the patio just talking. And then Bobby got realistic and came to the conclusion that he really misses he it's not the fact that he misses Connie, and it's really not the fact that he wants to have a relationship with Connie. He just missed the time when him, Connie, and oh my god, I forgot that kid's name. It's John Redcorn's kid, but Dale thinks it's his. Oh God, I forgot his name that fast. I had it in the episode that I done deleted. But anyway, he misses the bond that he had with all three of them. All right, so he missed Connie more so with as them as a tandem, being friends. So and that pretty much ends that episode. So chore money, chore problem. Like I said yesterday, what I'm gonna say today, I felt like this was the episode that harbors you back to the old King of the Hill days. I was very complimentary with this episode. This episode, to me, represent what King of the Hill is supposed to be. All right, and I gave this episode high marks. Out of all the episodes I watched, this was Chore Money, Chore Problem was by far the best episode. Okay. So when we fast forward to there's a new ref in town. Basically, a new ref in town is Dale is he referees soccer. And Hank, Hank's starting to realize that he really likes soccer. He loves soccer. Now, if you are a King of the Hill fan, you should know that the older King of the Hill episodes, Hank was against soccer. Um, he feel like kids should play football, just just play Texas football. But when he was in Saudi Arabia, and he was working over there, he had an opportunity to watch soccer, and he started to have an appreciation for soccer. But he didn't want to tell Dale, Bill, or Boomhauer that. So he wants them to be under the impression that he still hates soccer. Well, anyway, Dale's a soccer coach. Dale was refereeing a game. Um, the kids and the family got agitated with Dale. Dale quit and just left. And then one of the coaches said, "Look, if we don't find someone in the stand that can referee this game, we'll have to forfeit." So Hank, you know, Hank basically offered to referee the rest of the soccer game because he loves soccer and he knows the rules of the game. So it was great for Hank, but Dale had his concerns about Hank because he believed Hank was a double spy, because he said the Hank that he knew hates soccer. So obviously Hank's a spy, okay, and he's spying on the United States of America. All right, so you got that aspect, uh, and Peggy was very had the hotness for Hank when she saw Hank in his referee uniform. So they was making out throughout this episode. Okay. So I'm just gonna end it there and pretty much tell you guys a new oh yeah, Dale kidnaps Hank. Hank convinces Dale that he is a spy, so he can. So but Hank's not a spy. He just wanted to hurry up, get out of this stupid game with Dale, so he can go and go referee the soccer game. He finally gets there. They're doing everything but play soccer. They're wrestling, baseball, basketball, football, all the favorite sports. That's what they're doing on the hockey field. And Hank just gives up at that point. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and tell you guys about A New Ref in Town. I thought episode 2 was bad. This episode was extremely bad. Okay. This was an awful episode, start from finish. Okay. There was a lot of stuff that just did not make any sense. But I felt like if they would have, if they wanted to use this episode, then they should have played in the background through the other episodes why Hank likes soccer all of a sudden. All of a sudden. I just think it's hard to explain that in 2 minutes of a 30-minute show. Okay. So from that aspect, that's what I had a hard time with on that aspect. Um, I thought the writing was terrible. Were there funny moments? There was a couple of chuckles here and there, but nothing not to write home about. They didn't really utilize. Okay, they utilized the Dale aspect. Dale is this conspiracy theorist person. Um, Bill was just there. Okay, the one crowning moment in Bill is when Dale said, "Hey, look, I can't watch Hank and Peggy, so I'm gonna watch Hank, and you go watch Peggy," and uh, that excited Dale. But far from, other than that, it was, the writing wasn't all that good. It just wasn't good. I think this was the worst episode of all time. I would literally stop watching this new season of King of the Hill and just watch the old episodes of King of the Hill. It just does not hit the same anymore. It's uninterested. Um, it's just bad from start to finish. Also, in that episode, Bobby wanted to buy a car. He ends up being tricked into getting a horse. I thought that was bad, but that that story could have been better if there was, you know, some basic writing applied to this. It's one of those, the Bobby story, you could have put that in an episode, all right? But yeah, I'm pretty much done with King of the Hill. I will watch the next episode because it's kind of intriguing about what they're gonna do on this episode. So I kind of want to watch that because Connie thinks Kane is cheating on her. So I kind of want to see that episode and how that blossoms. And does that mean she's going to give Bobby a very serious chance? Things of that nature. So yeah, I can't wait to see this episode. But the a new ref in town was horrible from start to finish. But I went on and watched it anyway. Okay. So yeah, I'm pretty much done. I did, like I said, I reviewed 2 episodes on this video. Really do appreciate the people that came by and was listening to me. The people that's gonna watch the re-air of this, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe. Um, and I think I'm done with King of the Hill. But like I said, I'm gonna watch this next episode. And if this episode is worse than a new ref in town, then I'm done reviewing King of the Hill. By the way, Hulu has Alien Planet Earth, Alien Earth. I think that is a great program, but it's just so many layers to dissect. You're gonna need a lot of time, with the 2 episodes that I saw thus far. Okay, but yeah, I'm not happy with this new season of King of the Hill that's on Hulu. It would not shock me none if Hulu in the beginning of next year announced to all of us that they're gonna cancel King of the Hill. King of the Hill's not gonna make its 15th season. Or they throw Mike Judd a bone and give him one more season, and then they just close it there, making it season 15. But yeah, I'm not happy with it. Like I said, out of all the episodes, wasn't too happy. There's been a lot of bad episodes, a lot of bad writings. Have there been shining moments? Yeah, there have been shining moments, but they're few and far between. I think there's like one, maybe possibly 2 episodes that are good or at least solid, but the rest of them has been trash juice, gabino, garbage. All right. So yeah, I'm up out of here. I'll talk to you guys later. I will not delete this one. It's your boy, the host with the most of Do Not Brag or Boast, and I'm coming to you guys live from coast to coast. I'm up out of here. Deuces.